1980 Washington quarter. But what about the 1980 quarter? Well, the 1980 Washington quarter was struck during a time when the U.S. was producing millions of quarters to meet the demands of everyday commerce. It's part of the copper nickel-clad series, which replaced the 90% silver quarters in 1965. So if you were hoping for silver content in your 1980 quarter, unfortunately, it's not there. Let's break down the design of the 1980 Washington quarter. On the obverse or front side, you have the familiar profile of George Washington designed by John Flanagan. The date, 1980, is at the bottom of the coin. You'll also see the word liberty in the national motto, "In God We Trust." On the reverse, we've got the classic design of an eagle with wings spread, holding arrows and olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. Above the eagle, you'll see the inscription United States of America, and just below that, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one the denomination quarter dollar is at the bottom. Now let's talk about where these quarters were minted. The 1980 Washington quarter was minted at 3 different U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Here's a quick breakdown of the mintage numbers for each mint. Philadelphia mint, over 635 million quarters produced. Denver mint, over 518 million quarters produced. San Francisco mint, these coins were produced as proof coins intended for collectors with around 3.5 million minted. All right, now for the part you've been waiting for: how much is a 1980 Washington quarter worth today? Let's start with circulated quarters, which are the ones you're most likely to find in your change. These are typically worth face value 25 cents unless they're in exceptional condition. However, if you have an uncirculated 1980 Washington quarter or proof coin, you could be looking at a higher value. Uncirculated coins in MS65 condition, which means they're nearly flawless, can sell for $5 to $10 or more. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, especially if graded at PR69 or PR70, can go for around $10 to $20. One thing to keep in mind is that errors can increase a coin's value significantly. Some 1980 Washington quarters with misstrikes, off-center errors, or double dies have been known to fetch much higher prices at auctions, sometimes reaching hundreds of dollars depending on the rarity of the error. 1985 Washington quarter. While the obverse or the head side features the unmistakable bust of Washington, the reverse has gone through changes over the years, but in 1985 it still displayed the American bald eagle. Though it was minted in large numbers, the Washington quarter from 1985 remains a piece of American history. It was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coin features key elements that make it recognizable to any collector or casual observer. Let's talk mint marks. If you take a look under Washington's portrait, you'll find the mint mark. For quarters minted in Philadelphia, there's no mark, so if you don't see one, that's your Philly coin. Coins from Denver have a D, and the San Francisco minted proof coins have an S.A. In terms of production, the numbers were quite high in 1985. Philadelphia minted a whopping 775 million quarters. Denver followed with about 519 million. San Francisco produced around 3.36 million proof quarters, primarily intended for collectors. Even though these numbers seem large, not all of these coins hold the same value. Now, let's get into what really matters. How much is your 1985 quarter worth? Well, it depends on a few key factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Coins that have been in circulation for a long time, showing signs of wear, are worth their face value 25 cents. But if you've got an uncirculated or high-grade coin graded MS65 or above, the value jumps. Uncirculated 1985 Washington quarters can fetch anywhere from $5 to $15 depending on the mint. Keep an eye out for errors. Some 1985 quarters have misprints or die cracks, which can make them significantly more valuable to collectors. One famous error is the off-center strike, where the coin design is misaligned. These can be worth up to $50 or more. Depending on the severity and demand, San Francisco proofs are typically made for collectors, so their value is higher than circulating coins. A 1985 S proof quarter in perfect condition can be worth $3 to $10 depending on the market.so, while most 1985 quarters are only worth their face value. Special cases like high-grade coins and errors can bring in a nice premium. Here are a few quick tips to help you determine if your 1985 quarter is valuable. Check the condition. Is it shiny and free of scratches? If so, you may have an uncirculated coin. Look for mint marks. An S mint mark indicates a proof coin, while a missing mint mark means it's from Philadelphia. Inspect for errors, off center strikes, double dies, or die cracks are all good signs of an error coin. Remember, a small imperfection could mean big bucks, so always give your coins a good once over before dismissing them. 1995 Washington quarter. The 1995 Washington quarter, while not considered a rare coin, has its own story that adds value for collectors. In 1995, the U.S. Mint was producing coins at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each of these mints produce Washington quarters with varying mint marks, which we'll talk more about later. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1995 Washington quarter. On the obverse, we see the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This design remained largely unchanged for decades, a testament to its timelessness. At the top, we have the word Liberty with the year 1995 placed at the bottom. The phrase "In God We Trust" sits to the left, and the mint mark, depending on where the coin was minted, is located to the right of Washington's neck. Now for the reverse. It features a majestic bald eagle, wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows with two olive branches beneath. The words United States of America are inscribed above, and E pluribus unum is displayed between the eagle's wings. As mentioned earlier, the 1995 Washington quarter was minted in 3 locations, each marked by a different mint mark. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Coins produced in Philadelphia carry no mint mark. These are the most commonly found 1995 quarters. Denver Mint, D mint mark. The Denver Mint produced a significant number of these coins, and you'll find the D mint mark on the right side of Washington's neck. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. Now, the S mint mark represents proof coins minted in San Francisco. These coins were struck with special care for collectors and are generally more valuable than regular circulation coins. Now, the big question: how much is a 1995 Washington quarter worth today? While these coins are still in circulation and don't carry the same kind of intrinsic value as silver coins, certain factors can significantly increase their value for collectors. For a standard 1995 quarter in circulated condition, the value is typically around face value 25 cents. However, if you have a coin in uncirculated condition, meaning it's in pristine shape with no wear, its value can range from $1 to $5. Now, the proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, especially if they're still in their original packaging, can be worth between $5 and $15. And if you have a proof coin with a deep cameo finish, the value can go even higher, sometimes up to $25 or more. The 1966 Washington quarter. Now, let's fast forward to 1966. This was a turbulent time in U.S. coinage history. The mid-1960s marked the end of silver in U.S. quarters, and the 1966 quarter was part of this transition. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver, but due to a nationwide silver shortage, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel composition starting in 1965. This change had a huge impact on coin collectors, and even today, people are often on the lookout for those older silver quarters. The 1966 Washington quarter is composed of a copper core surrounded by a nickel outer layer. Its weight is about 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Although it no longer contains silver, the design remains unchanged from the original 1932 version, with George Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle clutching arrows and olive branches on the reverse. A key feature of 1966 quarters is the lack of a mint mark. This was a deliberate move by the U.S. Mint to discourage collectors from hoarding coins during a time of coin shortages. In 1966, all quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and over 821 million of these coins were struck. That's a huge number. However, because of this high mintage and the lack of precious metal content, most 1966 Washington quarters are still found in circulation today. Now, let's talk about a few key factors that can affect the value of a 1966 quarter. While most 1966 Washington quarters are worth just their face value of 25 cents, there are some exceptions that can raise their value. Let's go over a few important factors. As with most coins, condition is everything. Quarters that have been in circulation and show significant wear are generally worth their face value. However, uncirculated quarters or those in near perfect condition, known as mint state, can fetch higher prices. For example, a 1966 quarter in MS65 condition, which means it's in nearly perfect mint state, can be worth between $10 and $20. Error coins are always popular with collectors, and the 1966 quarter has a few interesting ones. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die, where the design appears to have been struck twice, leading to noticeable doubling of features. These error coins can sell for $100 or more, depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's overall condition. Unlike some other years, there were no official proof sets released in 1966 due to minting changes. Instead, the U.S. Mint produced special mint sets SMS that year, which were higher quality coins with a semi-proof-like finish. These coins can be worth significantly more, especially if they are in pristine condition, with values ranging from $15 to $50 or more for higher grades. 1984 Washington quarter. Fast forward to 1984, and this particular quarter isn't much different from its earlier counterparts in design. By this time, the U.S. Mint had already transitioned to using copper-nickel clad compositions instead of silver. This shift happened in 1965 due to rising silver prices. So if you're holding a 1984 Washington quarter, it's made from an outer layer of copper nickel bonded to a pure copper core dot. Let's take a closer look at the design. The obverse or front features a left-facing portrait of George Washington. Above his head is the word Liberty, while In God We Trust is inscribed on the left side. At the bottom, you'll find the year 1984. On the reverse side, we have the familiar eagle with wings spread out, holding arrows in its talons, representing strength and defense. Beneath the eagle is a laurel wreath symbolizing peace. Around the edge are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar classic, elegant and timeless. Now let's talk about mint marks. The 1984 Washington quarter was struck in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint is represented by a mint mark, which you can find just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse side. Coins minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while those from Denver will display a small D. San Francisco minted quarters bear an S mint mark, and these are usually proof coins intended for collectors rather than circulation. Now, the big question: what's the value of the 1984 Washington quarter? The value of this coin largely depends on its condition and whether it has any unique characteristics like mint errors. For quarters that have been in circulation, their value is typically just their face value, 25 cents. However, uncirculated quarters or those in mint condition can be worth more. A mint state 1984 quarter graded MS65 or higher can fetch between $5 and $10 depending on the market. Proof coins struck in San Francisco are even more valuable due to their sharp details and mirror-like finishes. A proof 1984S quarter could be worth between $5 and $15 in end depending on condition. 1996 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, featuring the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse side. For the 1996 quarter, like other years, the obverse was designed by John Flanagan. The reverse features the familiar image of an eagle, symbolizing strength and freedom. Here are the key specs for the 1996 quarter. Composition: 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. Weight: 5.67 grams, diameter 24.26 mm. Edge reeded. Mint marks: Philadelphia no mint mark, Denver D, and San Francisco S for proof coins. So how many were made? In 1996, millions of quarters were produced, but here's a breakdown by mint. Philadelphia 925,040,000. Denver 906,868,000. San Francisco proof clad 2 million. San Francisco proof silver 775,021. As you can see, these mintage numbers are pretty high, especially for the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That means this quarter is relatively common, at least in circulated condition. Now, let's talk value. For most circulated 1996 quarters, their worth is usually just face value minus 25 cents. These are quite common and don't have any rare errors or variations. However, if you come across a quarter in near perfect condition, like an uncirculated coin, its value can increase. An uncirculated 1996 Washington quarter graded MS65 can be worth around $10 to $15. If it's in higher grades like MS67 or MS68, the value can climb even higher, reaching $60 to $100 depending on the market. 1982 Washington quarter. By 1982, the quarter was a staple in American currency, known for its distinctive design and significance in everyday transactions. In 1982, 3 mint facilities produced quarters: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The total mintage for the Washington quarter in that year is as follows. Philadelphia 100 million, Denver 105 million, San Francisco 3,952,000 image of proof coin. Notably, the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins, which are highly sought after by collectors due to their brilliant finish. Now, let's talk value. The 1982 Washington quarter is generally worth face value minus 25 cents if it's in circulation. However, uncirculated or proof versions can be worth significantly more. Here's a quick breakdown. Circulated coins generally worth around 25 cents. Uncirculated coins range from $1 to $5 depending on the condition. Proof coins can fetch anywhere from $5 to $20 or more, particularly if graded by professional services like NGC or PCGS. If you're looking to start your collection, here are some tips. First, always check the condition of the coin. Look for wear and tear. Coins that have been well preserved hold much more value. Use a magnifying glass to inspect for any unique features or errors, which can also affect value. And don't forget to keep your coin stored properly to avoid damage. Beyond its monetary value, the 1982 quarter carries historical significance. It represents an era in American coinage where traditional designs were still favored, and it connects us to the legacy of George Washington. 1986 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, it has become one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. The design features a profile of George Washington on the obverse, while the reverse showcases an eagle and the inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. Now let's take a closer look at the 1986 Washington quarter specifically. This coin was part of the 50 state quarters program, which began in 1999. However, 1986 is significant for a different reason. It marked the 50th anniversary of the quarter's design, a design that has remained largely unchanged for decades. Let's talk about the specifics. The 1986 Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each of these mint marks can affect the coin's value. Here's a breakdown. Philadelphia, no mint mark. This is the standard version. Denver, D mint mark, minted in larger quantities. San Francisco, S mint mark. This version is often found in proof sets. Now, you might be wondering about their values. Generally, the 1986 Washington quarter is not rare and has a face value of 25 cents. However, its worth can vary based on its condition and mint mark. Here's a quick overview of the current market values. Circulated coins, these typically sell for around 25 to 50 cents. Uncirculated coins, these can range from $1 to $3 depending on the mint mark and overall quality. Proof coins, the San Francisco minted proofs, can be valued at $5 to $10 or more, especially if they're graded highly. The value of coins can fluctuate due to collector demand and market trends. As of now, the 1986 Washington quarter is still affordable for most collectors, making it a great entry point into numismatics. Before we wrap up, let's touch on some fun facts. Did you know that over 30 billion Washington quarters have been minted since 1932? That's a staggering number, showcasing the coin's popularity. And as the designs have evolved, collectors often seek out specific years and mint marks, making even the more common coins like the 1986 quarter interesting to collectors. 1988 Washington quarter. The 1988 quarter features a familiar design with George Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, representing strength and freedom. In 1988, the U.S. Mint produced approximately 1.6 billion quarters across 3 mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. This year's quarters are often seen in circulation, but there are notable varieties worth mentioning. The Philadelphia Mint produced quarters without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint marked its coins with a D. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint issued proof coins which have a mirror-like finish and are sought after by collectors. Now let's talk about value. The 1988 Washington quarter in circulation is generally worth face value 25 cents. However, uncirculated and proof versions can command much higher prices. Grading plays a crucial role in determining a coin's value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating better condition. For example, a well-preserved 1988 quarter could sell for $1 to $3, while proof coins can range from $3 to $10 or more, depending on their condition. While the 1988 quarter may not have the same historical significance as some other coins, it represents a period of stability in U.S. coinage. The design has remained consistent, and the quarter continues to be a staple in American currency. George Washington's legacy is not just reflected in this coin, it symbolizes the values of the nation: liberty, democracy, and perseverance. Each time you use or collect a quarter, you're holding a piece of history. 1983 Washington quarter. By 1983, the United States was experiencing a significant shift in coinage due to the rising cost of silver. Since 1965, quarters were no longer made of silver but rather a copper-nickel alloy. This change allowed the mint to produce coins more affordably while still maintaining their iconic look. The 1983 Washington quarter dollar coin has a diameter of 24.26 mm and weighs 5.67 grams. The composition is 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. Unlike some years, this coin is not known for having any major minting errors, but let's talk about its value now. The value of a 1983 Washington quarter in average circulated condition is around 25 to 50 cents. However, if you happen to find a quarter in uncirculated condition or with a specific mint mark, the value can increase significantly. Here are 2 primary mint marks for the 1983 quarter: P for Philadelphia and D for Denver. Both versions were produced in large quantities, but certain uncirculated coins can fetch prices of $1 to $3 or more at coin shops or auctions. If you're interested in collecting the 1983 Washington quarter, here are a few tips. First, always check the condition of the coin. Coins with minimal wear and no scratches are preferred by collectors. Also, look for any unique characteristics or possible errors, although they're rare in this year. Condition matters. Inspect for wear and scratches. Check for mint marks. Look for P or D. Educate yourself. Use resources like coin guides or online databases. Here are a few fun facts about the 1983 Washington quarter. Did you know? First non-silver coin, it's the first quarter minted entirely from non-silver material since the 1960s. Part of the statehood series, the quarter is part of the larger series that includes statehood quarters minted from 1999 to 2008. Cultural significance, the Washington quarter symbolizes American heritage and is one of the most widely circulated coins in U.S. history. That wraps up our look at the 1983 Washington $quarter coin. From its rich history to its current value, this coin is a great example of American numismatic heritage. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more coin-related content. Also, let us know in the comments if you have any 1983 quarters in your collection. 9761976 Bicentennial Quarter. The Bicentennial Quarter was issued in 1975 and 1976 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. But here's an interesting fact: no quarters were actually dated in 1975. All quarters minted in 1975 and 1976 bear the dual date 1776 to 1976. Why? Because the U.S. Mint wanted to mark this significant event for the entirety of the celebration period. This special issue wasn't limited to just quarters. The U.S. Mint also produced bicentennial versions of the half-dollar and dollar coins. However, it's the quarter that has become one of the most iconic and widely collected. Now, let's talk about the design. On the obverse or front of the coin, we still have the familiar image of George Washington. This hasn't changed from the original design by John Flanagan, first introduced in 1932. But the reverse, or back, is where things get exciting. On the reverse, we see a drummer boy, an image designed by Jack L. H.R., a winner in a national design competition. The drummer boy represents the spirit of independence and revolution. Behind him, there's a torch encircled by 13 stars, symbolizing the original 13 colonies. This patriotic design is what sets the Bicentennial Quarter apart from other U.S. quarters. With its dual dates 1776 to 1976 and unique reverse design, this quarter stands out as a historical reminder of America's fight for freedom. The U.S. Mint produced the Bicentennial Quarter at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver quarters don't have a mint mark, while Denver's has a small D under Washington's portrait. San Francisco, on the other hand, struck both proof and silver versions marked with an S. Most bicentennial quarters were made from the typical copper nickel-clad composition, but there were also 40% silver versions minted at San Francisco, which are more valuable today. So how much is your bicentennial quarter worth today? While most of these quarters were heavily circulated, making them common and worth just 25 cents, certain factors can increase their value. First, let's talk about condition. An uncirculated or mint state bicentennial quarter can fetch anywhere from $1 to $5. Proof versions, especially those with the S mint mark, can go for around $5 to $10, and silver proofs can sell for $8 to $15 depending on their condition. Keep an eye out for deep cameo proofs. These are highly reflective and can be worth even more. The highest value bicentennial quarters are typically those struck in 40% silver, particularly in high grades. Some of the top graded silver quarters can sell for upwards of $100 or more. If you think you have a valuable bicentennial quarter, here's what to look for. Check for a mint mark D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or none for Philadelphia. Next, assess its condition. Coins with no wear or those with sharp, clear details will always be worth more. Lowell 2019 State Quarter. In 2019, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lowell National Historical Park Quarter as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This series celebrates national parks and historic sites across the country. The Lowell Quarter is the 46th release in the series and the first coin of the year 2019. The design on the reverse side features a female mill worker representing the mill girls who were vital to Lowell's textile industry in the 19th century. Behind her, you can see a power loom and the iconic Boot Cotton Mills clock tower. This design honors Lowell, Massachusetts as the birthplace of America's Industrial Revolution. Lowell played a major role in the growth of industry in the United States, and this coin is a tribute to that rich history. During the 1800s, the city became known for its mills and factories, employing thousands of workers, many of whom were women seeking financial independence. So this quarter isn't just about a place, it's about the people who shaped the American workforce. Now let's take a look at some technical details. The 2019 Lowell Quarter was struck in 3 different U.S. Mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver Mint coins bear a P and D mint mark respectively, and these are made for circulation. The San Francisco Mint coins have an S mint mark, and they were produced in limited quantities for collectors. There are also silver-proof versions made of 99.9% silver. In terms of mintage, about 228 million Lowell quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and 223 million at the Denver Mint. Proof versions from the San Francisco Mint are much rarer, with only about 1.1 million minted. So the big question, what's the value of this 2019 Lowell Quarter? If you have a coin in average circulated condition, it's likely worth just 25 cents, the face value. However, uncirculated coins or those in mint state can be worth more to collectors. An uncirculated Lowell Quarter with an MS65 grade could fetch between $1 to $3. Proof coins, especially silver proofs, can be valued. Georgia 1999 State Quarter. In 1999, the United States Mint kicked off the 50 state quarters program. a series that commemorated each of the 50 states by releasing a quarter featuring a unique state design. Georgia was the fourth state to be honored with its quarter debuting on July 19, 1999. This quarter celebrates Georgia's rich heritage, and it came just months after Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey quarters were released earlier that year. It was an exciting time for collectors. Let's take a closer look at the design of this coin. On the reverse side, you'll see the central motif, Georgia's famous state fruit, the peach. It's a symbol of the state's agricultural abundance and southern charm. Surrounding the peach is a prominent state outline, as well as branches of live oak, the state tree of Georgia. At the bottom, there's the state motto, wisdom, justice, moderation, reflecting Georgia's values since the 1800s. And of course, the top reads Georgia with the year it was admitted to the Union, 1788. As always, the obverse side features the classic portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan, which has been on U.S. quarter since 1932. Now, let's talk about where these coins were minted and how it impacts their value. The 1999 Georgia state quarters were minted at 3 locations. Coins from Philadelphia and Denver were intended for circulation, while the ones from San Francisco are proof coins struck specifically for collectors and never meant for everyday use. The proof versions are easily recognizable by their shiny mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. If you find a Georgia quarter with an S mint mark, you're likely looking at a special collector's coin. So what's a 1999 Georgia quarter worth today? The value varies depending on its condition and mint mark. Let's break it down. Most of these coins in circulated condition are worth face value minus 25 cents. However, uncirculated examples in mint state can fetch $1 to $3. Higher graded examples can go for more, especially in top conditions like MS67 or MS68. Proof coins with the S mint mark are worth more, especially in pristine condition. You're looking at around $5 to $10 for a standard proof. But if you have a silver proof version, which was struck on 90% silver, the value increases significantly up to $20 or more depending on condition. If you have a Georgia quarter that's been professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC, high-grade coins can fetch premiums. For example, a Georgia quarter graded MS69 can be worth $100 or more. Ohio 2002 state quarter. In 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program, which ran until 2008. The Ohio state quarter was released on March 11th, 2002 as the 17th coin in the series, celebrating Ohio's rich history and contributions to the nation. The design pays tribute to Ohio's nickname, the birthplace of aviation pioneers, recognizing the Wright brothers and astronaut John Glenn. Designed by Donna Weaver, the reverse side of the coin features an early aircraft, the Wright Flyer, in flight, representing the Wright brothers' first flight in 1903. Below, we see an astronaut, a nod to John Glenn and Ohio's role in space exploration. The state outline of Ohio is displayed in the background, along with the inscription birthplace of aviation pioneers and the date 1803, the year Ohio became a state. Like the other quarters in the series, the obverse features a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with the words United States of America, Liberty, and God We Trust in the coin's denomination, $quarter. Let's talk about mintage numbers. The Ohio state quarter was struck at 3 different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia mint, no mint mark, 217,200,000 coins. Denver mint, D mint mark, 414,832,000 coins. The quarters minted in Philadelphia and Denver were intended for general circulation, while the ones from San Francisco were struck in limited numbers for collectors as proof coins, including a 90% silver version. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for, the coin's value. If you have an Ohio quarter from your pocket change, don't expect it to be worth much more than its face value, unless it's in pristine condition or has some unique characteristics. In circulated condition, Ohio state quarters from the Philadelphia and Denver mints are generally only worth their face value of 25 cents. But if you find one in uncirculated condition or have a high-grade example, the value increases. Let's break it down further. Circulated condition P or D, 25 cents. Uncirculated Mississippi 60 to MS65, $1 to $3. MS67 up to $20. Silver proof S, $10 to $15. Clad proof S, $2 to $4. High-grade coins, especially those graded MS67 or higher, can sell for upwards of $20 or more at auction. The silver-proof version is particularly desirable for collectors, with values ranging from $10 to $15 depending on condition. 1999 Connecticut state quarter. In 1999, the U.S. Mint began the 50 state quarters program, an ambitious initiative to release commemorative quarters for each state. These quarters were minted between 1999 and 2008, with each design showcasing something iconic about the state it represented. The Connecticut state quarter was one of the first coins to be released in the series, and it entered circulation on October 12, 1999. Let's dive into the design, history, and of course its value today. The design of the Connecticut quarter is a tribute to the state's rich historical heritage. On the reverse side, you'll see a large, sprawling charter oak tree. This design was created by artist T. James Farrell and commemorates the charter oak, an important symbol of American independence. Legend has it that in 1687, the tree was used to hide the original Connecticut colonial charter, protecting it from being confiscated by the British. So this quarter isn't just about a tree, it represents the state's defiance and fight for self-governance. The inscriptions include the words Connecticut, the charter oak in the year 1788, which marks the year Connecticut became the 5th state. Now let's talk about the coin's technical details, or as we collectors like to say, the specs. Minted year 1999. Weight 5.67 grams. Diameter 24.26 mm. Composition: the coin has a copper core clad with a layer of nickel. Mints: the Connecticut quarter was produced at 3 different U.S. mint facilities. Philadelphia P mint mark, Denver D mint mark, San Francisco S mint mark for proof sets. These mint marks can be found on the front of the coin just below Washington's portrait. How many of these quarters were made? Here's a breakdown by mint. Philadelphia Mint P 688,744,000. Denver Mint D 657,880,000. San Francisco Proof S 3,713,359 clad proofs and 804,565 silver proofs. This makes the Connecticut quarter relatively common in circulation, but the value can vary depending on its condition and rarity. All right, here's what you've been waiting for. What's the Connecticut quarter worth today? Circulated quarters in circulated condition. These quarters are generally worth face value about 25 cents. But if you have an uncirculated or high-grade coin, the value goes up. Uncirculated mint state, a Connecticut quarter in mint state MS condition, can range from $1 to $3 depending on the grade. Proof versions, proof quarters from San Francisco S Mint, especially silver proofs, can be worth significantly more. Clad proofs are generally valued at around $5 to $8, while silver proofs can go for $10 to $15 or more, depending on the condition and demand. For high-graded MS65 or better, Connecticut quarters can fetch up to $30 or more, especially if they're certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. So what makes a Connecticut quarter worth more than another? Here are a few key factors to keep in mind. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins with no wear, sharp details, and original luster are the most sought after. Some collectors may seek specific mint marks, like proof coins from San Francisco, which are more valuable than their circulated counterparts. Watch out for rare minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or missing clad layers. These can increase a coin's value significantly, sometimes up to $100 or more, depending on the error and condition.